Welcome back, my fellow warriors! Today I give you 8 quick tips on how to improve your chances at winning Skirmish in Ancestors Legacy. Since I'm on console and this game just recently got released, I myself am still fairly new to the game as well, so feel free to add any other tips I did not mention and that you might have in the comment section below. Please make sure, as always, do drop a like and subscribe for more. I seriously appreciate it a lot. Now, let's jump right into the tips. Tip number 1. Use the entire battlefield. Quickly glance over the map. Where's high grass that I can hide my units in? Where are cliffs that could potentially overlook the battlefield that I can position my archers in? Far too often do I see lots and lots of players constantly use the same lanes for attacking, and I basically end up knowing where they will attack from every time. So make sure you change it up every now and then. Attack a base that they are not expecting you to attack, and attack from different spots to keep the enemy guessing and keep them on their toes. Figure out where the important choke points are. All of those are basically keys to winning a battle, which in return can then win you the entire war. Especially as the game progresses and losing units becomes more and more expensive if you have them armored up and leveled up. It is more important to know the battlefield and know how far to push those units. Tip number 2, make use of the environment. This directly touches on tip number 1, but far too often do I see other players just charge into battle with 3 units head on, basically throwing them into the battle and letting them figure that crap out on their own. No, don't do this. You're missing a huge opportunity. I know micromanaging units can be a pain, especially on console because we don't have the mouse and whatnot, but do it. Go through the hassle and flank at least 1 or even 2 units around. Always try to make sure you do get the high ground, especially for cavalry. That can be a huge bonus if there's high ground on the map. So setting up your units, on the Xbox it is the A button. On the PlayStation I believe it would be the X button, and just holding that and dragging the unit towards the certain direction that you want it to. So you can do that with archers, you can do that with cavalry or infantry as well, to charge them into the right direction and lose as little as time possible for that charge. Be careful though with your cavalry, because they do need a little bit of space to charge up, so you don't want to lose that momentum which you would if you would just move towards a certain spot and have the unit there. Make sure you give them enough space to charge up and then attack the other unit, because you don't want to lose that momentum with the cavalry unit. That is too big of a loss. Tip number 3, defend your villages. And I don't just mean with your units. Don't just station 1 or 2 units in there. Build freaking arrow towers. Those beautiful buildings can definitely save your ass when it comes down to it. I've come across an insane amount of players that don't have any arrow towers in there. You're easily able to just stroll through the village, just as if they laid out the carpet for you, and be like, hey man, you want to capture this little point? I don't have any defenses there. And they don't even ring the alarm bell. So if you get attacked, make sure you ring that alarm bell, because it actually arms your tower. And if there's a little upgrade as well that's called better defenses, and it actually gives you a little town militia. So when you have all of those factors in, it will buy you more time for your units to get to the certain village or whatever you're being attacked, and it will buy you enough time to get there in time and to basically defend the village. Little side note, the Anglo-Saxons actually built arrow towers for cheaper. So for the usual it's 125. I don't know the number for the Anglo-Saxons on the top of my head. So backtracking, village defense 101, build watchtowers, improve defenses, and ring the alarm when the enemy is upon you. Number 4, traps can be very useful to shaping the battlefield to your advantage. Make sure you use them. I cannot stress enough how effective these little spiky things can be, especially if you lure your enemy into a trap and then move in to smash them the heck out of this universe. They are absolutely nasty. While I was learning the game, I found myself too lazy pretty much a lot of times, not bothered with building traps. I was like, whatever, I'll just have my infantry handle this business. And whenever I actually stumbled upon one, I was like, oh my god, these things are gnarly, and it wrecks your unit. So make use of them, especially at the end or beginning of choke points. I saw one dude actually just place them along a whole bridge. So basically from the beginning of the bridge to the end of the bridge, there was traps all over. The only way you can see them is if you put your unit in a defensive formation, and then you can spot them and just shoot them down from afar or whatever. And a good laid trap can seriously just destroy a cavalry unit, especially the spiky ones. Tip number 5. Know and learn your units. Knowing your units is so important to winning the whole battle. Cavalry is best against archers. Spears will usually prevail against cavalry, and swords and axes hold the advantage over spears just because of the spears' lower mobility and stuff like that. But if you use formations, you can alter that in a battle. So attacking formations are obviously good if you are on the offensive, if you're trying to move fast. Defensive formations though are a little bit different, and your unit will move a lot slower, but they will also hold their ground for a lot longer. Finally, this might seem obvious, but keep archers away from melee and use them to rain down hell from the skies from either behind or in front. But be careful, there also is friendly fire in this game, so don't just shoot blindly into anywhere you see. I know I mentioned this before, but it can be so useful if you can set up a flanking maneuver with the archers or any other unit. Just flank people. It helps a lot. Lastly, please do yourselves a huge favor and retreat units if you are about to lose them. It's so much cheaper to simply replenish them at a friendly base than to build an entire unit, especially if you have armor upgrades on them and a level 2 or level 1s, either one. Little side tip over here, berserkers, those crazy bastards, cannot retreat. Once they are in a battle, they will either win it or they will get wrecked and fight until they die. But at least they're good at fighting, so you have that going for them. Tip number 6. Another huge point that I personally seem to neglect a lot in the heat of battle is make sure you build your blacksmith relatively early. There are bonuses for increased income, fire resistance, and others. Some are very faction specific. For example, the Germans have Imperial Steel, which gives them very cheap armor upgrade, and the Brits might have some longbows, giving them those annoying archers that cannot see where they are attacking me from. The Slavs also have good archers, by the way, just a side note on that. I hate those bastards. And all of those give their faction unique bonuses to fighting. You will need them to research, for example, veterancy, and that gives the German cavalry better missile protection, and it gives another unit more attack. So techs are really important. Do not forget about them. And also, while we're on the note of forgetting about certain things, make sure you upgrade your units. I fought so many units even late game that are just running around with no armor at all, so they can be very decisive in the end as well if they have upgraded armor. Tip number 7. This is not as much of a tip, but it's just like a little encouragement. But practice. Playing against people who are better than you is good. Make sure you study their moves. You will lose battles, and that's okay, but learn as much as you possibly can from that loss. Look at their tactics, see what they did different than what you might have missed. When did they advance into certain stages, because at the end of the game you can see a timeline of their moves, so check those out. I spent I don't know how many minutes after a game just looking at the timeline of a 1v1 and seeing what unit he built first and what did he follow up that, when did he have armor upgrades already, and you can just learn so much. So study them to yourselves, compare them to you. There will always be players who are better than you, and have fun with the game. Pretty much, it is an awesome game. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something new in this video game and that you will go out there and absolutely dominate that battlefield and crush your opponents. Once again, if you have more tips, please do drop them below, as I'm always looking to become better myself. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you guys next time.